Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Many Tribes, One Kingdom. It's your good buddy John here with today's exciting song review, which we are finally free to do. And we are joined by our wonderful co-host.
I did that stupid pun like that.
Yep.
He stole my joke, by the way.
No,
it's Dustin. Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you guys, or be here again.
And yes, as the title indicates, we are reviewing the song Finally Free by Rend Collective. All right, so you guys know how it works by this point in time. We're going to go through the lyrics, we're going to talk about them, we're going to examine them from a Christian and biblical worldview, and if you enjoy this video, you're going to hit the like button.
You'll be finally free to do it. You're gonna be hearing a lot of bad.
You're going overboard with the joke.
You're gonna hear a lot of bad puns throughout this video. I'm sorry.
If you heard a bad pun, you have to hit that subscribe button.
Feel free to do it.
Finally. Okay, let's be serious.
Okay.
It's gonna take this video a while to rend and collect, so you know. Okay, that was terrible. Let's just get into this.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while for it to render and collect all those likes. How about that? Is that better?
Okay, that was better. Now let's get to the lyrics before people get mad.
All right, verse 1. Your mercy rains from heaven like confetti at a wedding, and I am celebrating in the downpour. John.
Oh, is that...
Yes, that's it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, so in the song, it's set up differently. Like I guess that's the second verse right after that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I like how this song starts. It talks about God's mercy, how it's raining down on us, and we're celebrating in it. That's just imagine that for a minute. Like you imagine going out and dancing in the rain. And that's
when was the last time you danced in the rain?
About a year, I think, maybe.
I think we need to do that more often.
Yeah. Especially if we're dancing in the downpour of God's mercy.
Absolutely. It's pulling you into the message of the song about being finally free. I mean, it's already expressing that within this first verse. You know, going out in the rain, dancing. That's not the first thing I think about doing. But when you are finally, just free of all your shackles, you're going to want to do that. You're going to go out there, and it's going to feel like that when His mercy comes and rains down on you.
Yes, and honestly, the instrumental. I know we don't typically talk about the instruments, but I got to mention this. The way that it starts, very soft and everything. It really draws you into the moment.
I agree. You ready for the second verse, John?
I was reborn ready.
Your heart is wild with color, like a never-ending summer. You burn away the winter of my cold and weary heart. Wow. From what I can take away from this, just for the first line, your heart is wild with color. What comes to mind is the many different names of God that we read in the Bible. And to simplify that, the many different areas that God has satisfied somebody's heart, somebody physically, spiritually, mentally, just a different way that God has done it. And so that's what's coming to mind when I say wild with color. It's an unimaginable rainbow of God's love.
Yes.
Like a never-ending summer. I know during summertime, for when I was in school, summertime was like the vacation time. Like that was the time to go out, have fun. And so you're also celebrating. So we're also celebrating in the love of God. Then you burn away the winter of my cold and weary heart. Our hearts are full of sin. But when God comes in, guess what? It's broken away. All that sin is removed, that gunk is gone, and you're finally free of that sin, and you're capable of dancing in the rain. You're capable of just feeling the pure love of God again. And you're able to walk around not having to worry about any ball and shackle around your ankle.
Mm-hmm. You know, this, I was going to wait till the end of the song to say this, but I got to say it right now. The lyrics are really reminding me of the Psalms here. Like the imagery that they're using to describe God's love, God's mercy, God's heart, that it really reminds me of the Psalms, of how David would describe God.
Now that you said that, I do see that here.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to that verse. You kind of said it all.
Well, good. The third verse. My soul cry, or is that the chorus?
That's the chorus.
Okay. My soul cries out, holy, holy. My heart is lost in your beauty. All hope is found in your mercy. You paid the price. Now I am finally free.
So, right there, finally free. What a lot of us don't consider is that we were slaves to sin before we knew Christ. We were a slave to the world, to our evil desires, and we had to be bought. And the only price that could buy us from that sin was the blood of Jesus. And he gladly paid the price so that we can finally be free, so that we can celebrate in God's holiness and his mercy and his beauty and his love in all the attributes of God. And that's what this chorus is telling us here.
Just the first line gets me every time. My soul cries out, holy, holy.
Yes.
What I'm hearing is that this is how I feel right now, is that this is not just something my brain is conjuring up. It is something deep inside that is so unexplainable that just wants to just burst out of my chest in a great expression of joy and happiness and freedom and liberty.
Yes. I mean, the freedom that we receive from God is just overwhelming at times to think about. The fact that we will have eternity to celebrate him. And eternity isn't long enough to celebrate God. That's not enough time to celebrate God.
And I think that goes into my next point of my heart is lost in your beauty. What I'm thinking of is being in a room and just being surrounded by God's presence. Not just it's so breathtaking and just me being in awe. It's never ending. You want, like John just said about eternity. Eternity is not enough to celebrate what God has done. It's not enough. And so being lost in his beauty of what he has done, it's a good thing.
Yes, and all hope is found in his mercy. If God was not merciful to us, we would have no hope.
Well, and it said that too. You paid the price. He paid the price. So many songs nowadays put the me or I centered whenever we're trying to worship God. It's not me. It's not I. It's him. He gets all the praise and he gets all the glory. And the song reminds us of that in the most pivotal moment. You paid the price. Now I am finally free.
Yes.
We have to put him before us because he paid that, which we could not.
I remember a quote that one of my leaders on one of my mission teams said one time, and this song reminds me of it. She said, God doesn't need us, but he desperately wants us. And we often don't want God, but we desperately need him.
The next verse. Your grace, O God's the anchor that's holding me forever. Come trouble or high water, I am steadfast. Just grace is the only thing in this first line. Your grace your grace of God is the anchor. I'm sorry, I'm trying to speak tonight. God, the grace of God is the only thing holding us together at this point. Is the only thing that's going to keep us, in still, just like an anchor for a ship holds it in place in the wild waters.
Yep, that's
That's
the
what
image
the
I'm
grace is.
getting.
Yes. That is the grace that God has. It is a security net. It is holding us together. And that's what this whole verse is just talking about. Your grace is holding me forever, come trouble or high water. No matter what comes at us, that anchor is going to hold us steadfast in those waters that no matter what life tries to throw at us, we are going to be standing firm. And it's not because of us, it is because of God. That is the
Yeah,
only reason. I am loving this song because, again, it is a God centered song, and that's what we need nowadays. A God centered song that continually reminds us of His grace, of His mercy being the only thing that holds us together, to keep us in place, to make us finally feel free. Not
that's
just,
why.
and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It's not
Oh, you're
just
good.
about freedom, it's about feeling free. It's about feeling that. When you feel, there's a difference between feeling free and actual freedom. Feeling free, it's a wonderful experience because it's the realization that your body and soul now are able to do whatever they want to do because of what God has done. Freedom is knowing that you can do anything, but being restricted. Feeling free, you can do what you want. There's nothing holding you back.
Yeah. That's why I love Rend Collective's music so much. A lot of their songs are just so God focused. And again, they take a lot of inspiration I see from the Psalms, much like Shane and Shane, which we need to review one of their songs one of these days.
Absolutely. You ready for the
All right.
next verse, John?
I am. Let's go.
You lift me when I'm sinking, like the swell of mighty oceans. The power of redemption, it gives me wings to soar.
So I'm getting two pictures here.
Okay.
One, I'm reminded of the instance when Peter walked on the water with Jesus and he started to sink. And Jesus grabbed him and held him and said, he pulled him up out of the water and he said, "Why did you doubt? Why did you look away?"
Mm.
And that's what God does for us. But then also remember the prophet Isaiah, that when he says that they will soar on wings like eagles. The freedom that we get from God. I imagine there's no greater freedom that we could feel than to fly. If we could actually do that, I sometimes envy the birds because of the freedom they get. And that is the freedom our souls find in God, is that we soar on wings like eagles.
Mm. And I'm just going to echo what John said because you hit it right on the head. When we're walking around on this earth, we're eventually going to have to walk up a hill, or we're going to hit a tree, or something's going to block our path or prevent us from reaching the goal. But when you're in the air, nothing can stop you except for you.
Yeah.
The birds will continue to soar. Hawks will continue to soar until they decide they no longer want to, and that they need to land.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the image that I have coming to my mind.
Yeah.
And it will reach the chorus, and then I think that's the bridge. We'll cast our crowns before him like the rustling leaves of autumn. Now every chain lies broken, and finally we're free. Oh,
The image is so beautiful in this song.
it is just it's not just it's so wonderful because it's not just a visual; it's an auditory as well. It because it just in the first line we cast our crowns before him. So I can imagine just us taking our crowns off, laying them at his feet. But the sound of it happening is just as if you're listening to the leaves on the ground. It's a beautiful sound that you will one day hear when everybody lays down their crowns before his throne.
I'm, look in the book of Revelation when the elders will cast their crowns at the feet of God.
Mm.
And I imagine the beauty of that situation where God is going to give us crowns, but we will cast them at his feet because only he deserves them. We only receive. I'm imagining a picture here where we will cast our crowns at his feet and he will put them back on us.
Mm.
That's kind of what I'm envisioning here. And every chain lies broken. I real fast want to talk to our subscribers because I know what kind of world we live in and I know what struggles we all deal with. Me and Dustin know the struggles of this world. We know what it's like these days. Maybe we don't know your exact situation. Maybe you're struggling with a different chain. Maybe a different chain is trying to hold you still. But every chain lies broken because of who Jesus is and because of what he has done. It doesn't matter what those chains are that are binding you. Is it lust? Is it fear? Is it greed? Is it discouragement? Is it past trauma? Is it future fear? Is it anything? It doesn't matter. God can break that chain. You are not too far gone for him to save and make free.
Mm. The image after you said that chain's being broken, I can just imagine God stomping on the chain, and then the chain turns into this snake that bites at his heel, cursing at him for doing what he just did.
Mm.
But it doesn't matter to him. He's not looking at the snake. He's looking at you dancing because you're free. I can just imagine that. I'm holding back my tears right now, Val. It's a lot of memories are coming back. A lot of memories are coming back. So,
Yeah. I'm imagining God, like you said, stomping the chain, but I'm imagining him grinding the chain beneath his feet into dust.
mm. Oh, this is a beautiful song. Guys, I'm really fighting my tears right now. This is such a powerful song.
I love it. Like the first time I heard this song, it just really spoke to my heart. And it's like, these are the words I have been longing to say to God.
I love doing these song reviews because it gives you an opportunity to actually read what we're listening to and what we're singing to. But sometimes when you're listening to these songs or you're singing these songs, you're not really listening to each and every single word. But when you break it down and you're actually reading everything, it hits you. It hits you in the emotions every time. And it just makes it that much more impactful for you. It creates a connection. And whenever I'm preaching, I always have a song that follows the sermon as a sort of a call to, to prayer to God. And sometimes I'll just tell them, like, look, if you have no words to say, just let the words of this song be your prayer.
I've done that.
And it's because these songs are more than just praises and worship to God. Some of them are actually songs of prayers to him.
Yes.
We often forget that we can sing our prayers to God as well. It's not just praise. So if you ever get the opportunity to read the songs, I encourage you to do so. Read the songs that you're singing and pray those prayers.
Yes. So please go listen to this Rend Collective song.
We are going to leave a link in the description as well as at the end of this video to Rend Collective, and we're going to put up the lyric version of the song. And actually, I'm going to put up the instrumental as well. I'm going to put a link to the instrumental.
Yeah, I love the instrumental to this. Again, we don't talk about the instruments too often when we do these reviews because the instrument isn't the most important part of worship. And don't hear what I'm not saying. The instrument is very important in worship, but it's not the essential part. But the instruments that they used and the melody they set it to and everything, it just all lines up perfectly. The rhythm, the tempo, all of it just lines up.
It's one of those rare songs, right, John?
Yeah, it is. I love it. And no matter how many times I listen to it, I never get tired of
it. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but about the third time I heard this song, I just started dancing out of nowhere. I'm not a small guy. I'm kind of big, But I was still dancing to this song. Like I was making leaps and everything, and it was just the pure joy that this song was bringing to me, and the reminders that of what God has done in my life personally, and but all those joys came clashing together, and I could no longer just sit still. I had to express that.
Yeah.
Higher
Don't be
John?
embarrassed. Yeah, sorry. Don't be embarrassed to admit that. I've danced to the song. When the Spirit of the Lord calls you to move, you move.
Amen. Amen. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This has been a wonderful song review, as they all are. This one particularly was one of my favorites.
Mhm.
Any parting words, John?
Add this to your worship playlist. Come on, I know you have one. Everybody has one.
I'll admit it. I have one when I'm driving to work. I'm often the loudest one on the road.
Yep. So add this song to your worship playlist and
Right.
show Rend Collective some love.
Absolutely. Oh, I got one quick message. This song did bring this back because I actually finally saw it last night. If you have not gotten the opportunity to do so, please go watch The Sound of Freedom if you ever get the opportunity. This song paired with that movie, they just work so great together.
Yes, yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but if you haven't gone and see it, go see it. It's in theaters right now. They didn't pay me to say this, I promise, but it's a wonderful movie and it's really going to impact you and how you see everything around you.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week and God bless you.